Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm going to bring to you the long-awaited Suzuki Escudo Pikes Peak. So basically, if you don't know much about this car, Gran Turismo 2, that's all you need to know. Basically Gran Turismo 2, Gran Turismo 3, you could get this thing to pop insane wheelies, basically hit over 1,000 miles an hour. It was just the most insanely broken, ridiculous car, and a lot of people have many fond memories of it. It is awesome to see it finally return in Gran Turismo 7 after, I believe the last time this appeared in the Gran Turismo game was Gran Turismo 6, so I mean that must be nearly 10 years ago. So, as you can see from the legendary dealer, it's only 1.7 million and it has nearly 1,000 brake horsepower. Also a great car for grinding. If you didn't catch that money method, make sure you go check it out. So this car basically just pays for itself, and at 1.7 million for the performance you get from it, it's really pretty kind of cheap. A lot of people may think that's quite high, but trust me, for what you get, this car is very reasonably priced. So what can I really talk about when it comes to this car that hasn't been said a million times? Well, not much really. Just the look of it, it's one of the most insane looking cars ever to exist. Really unique look. Like I said, I mean the history this thing has with Gran Turismo is just, second to none. I don't think there's a car that gets talked about, in terms of Gran Turismo as much as this one. I think since Gran Turismo 7 released, everybody was wanting this to return, and then when people, found leaks that this car was going to return, I don't think anybody expected it to return as quick as it did. When we saw the silhouettes, I think people instantly knew which car it was, and for the last week, all we saw was just this bright red Suzuki with a huge wing plastered all over, anything to do with Gran Turismo. But like most things, is it disappointing? It's returned. It's a pretty old machine at this point, over 20 years old, and that's the thing with hype. Does it live up to it, or does it just fall flat? And for me, it definitely lives up to the hype. It is a bit strange to sort of get used to the way the power comes down and the handling, but it is very controllable. Although you spend a lot of the lap on the edge with that insane acceleration kicking in, there's definitely no point where you feel like the car's uncontrollable. It's definitely not that kind of car, and that aero is definitely functional. We may have things like the Tomahawk and such, but this is essentially the original Tomahawk. This was the car that you could break the game with back in the day, and it is awesome to see it. I think it will be that extreme this time around? Probably not. I don't ever see it being as extreme as it was in like GT2, GT3, popping wheelies and such. Maybe someone out there will know a setup for it. Obviously I have to test these in a sort of default setup, no upgrades, and straight out the box. Is it any good? 100% yes. It's a very enjoyable car to drive. The sound it makes, the way it looks, that insane turbo kicking in and then the acceleration just coming out of nowhere, catching you off guard. It's all you could really want from a car. I mean, for 1.7 million, that's nothing. It's like 2 races, 3 races, and you've got it. And like I said, it is good for grinding, so it does pay for itself. So that's another plus point. Probably my new favourite car to grind events with. So it's the point in the video in which I'm going to basically go quiet for a little bit, let you listen to the engine note. Let me know your opinion on it. Personally, I think it sounds absolutely amazing. It does really sound good. A lot of people may say, oh, maybe it sounds a bit muted, a bit flat, but for me, nah, when you're driving it, it does sound really cool. So I think a lot of people wondering, like, where could you use this car? Is it just going to be one of them cars that we just sort of bring out in, I don't know, meeting places, or just our own online lobbies, custom races and such? Well, I feel like that's kind of the good thing about this car, is it's able to be down tuned to take part in them kind of events. So you saw Denya and your other 800 World Touring Car events. Very usable, very enjoyable. So yeah, at least there is a use for it. I do hope we get some more sort of like hill climb stages added. I believe back in the day there was the hill climb stage for Gran Turismo 2, I believe, and this car just ate that track up, and I hope to God we kind of get them events back and really get a use for these dirt cars. I mean, there's not much in the way of sort of off-road tracks and such, and I do kind of hope to see, now they've kind of improved the physics, more places to use these kind of cars on. I mean, yeah, they're cool using them around circuits, but sometimes you just want to jump in and use them for what they were intended for. So if I wanted to be really nitpicky, if I had to, have a single complaint about this car, it's just its fuel usage. It's a little bit high. That's about it. Yeah, there's nothing to really complain about, and for me that's a good thing. It just shows that this car, to me, it's just timeless. It's always going to be really awesome to just see it. I think just the way it looks just brings back so many memories. If you don't remember this car, or if you weren't around at that time, then maybe you won't have that same nostalgia like a lot of us do. But I know the people that use this in GT2, GT3, it was just the coolest thing. And like I said, no matter what cars we've had added, over the years, like the Tomahawk and such, nothing's going to top the Suzuki Escudo Pikes Peak. It's just one of the most awesome, insane cars you can ever drive, really. And for me, it's a staple of Gran Turismo. I'm glad it's come back pretty, I guess, early into Gran Turismo 7's life. I'm glad it wasn't sort of left out until like towards the end of it. And for me, it's the kind of hype that Gran Turismo 7 needed. I feel like GT7's been in a really weird place, especially the last couple of months. It just feels like there's been nothing but complaints, and I'm kind of on the fence with it. A lot of opinions are valid, but I kind of feel like this car sort of brought the community back together again in a weird way. I mean, it's kind of funny how one car that was originally in the game over 20 years ago has now brought everybody back to really get into this game again. I feel like a lot of players are going to be coming back just to use this car alone and just kind of get that nostalgia back. As you can see from the onboard footage, it just looks absolutely awesome inside, and you can see that it's a bit of a beast when it comes to the acceleration and the way this thing shifts. So I will let you sort of listen to a bit of onboard footage, and then we'll discuss the end result and such. So for me, everything's absolutely awesome with this car. I mean, even like the whining of the transmission and that really cool sounding engine note, especially on board, like it just doesn't disappoint. I can't praise this car enough. So with that being said, it is definitely a must buy as we go on to our individual sectors. Overall, a lap time of 6 minutes 5. Do I think that could have been improved? Yes, I believe it's much, very possible to get under 6 minutes pretty easy in this car. And if you've been keeping up to date with these videos, you'll know that's pretty high up my leaderboard. But just how quick really is it? How quick is this over 20-year-old machine? I believe it's like 24 years old now. Let's have a look. So as you can see, overall it puts it third, just below a 2016 GT500, which it could have gone quicker than if I'd not made a couple of little mistakes, and just under the Toyota Hybrid, which tops it. So for me, yeah, it does hold up for a 24-year-old car to be putting them lap times in, and some of the cars it beat is just insane. It does live up to the hype. There's no doubt about that. So with that being said, let's go on to my discussion. Do I think this car's worth it? 100%. Am I glad it's in the game? 100%. It's a staple of Gran Turismo. It should never ever be left out. Do I think that it was, going to be overhyped? Was I doubtful about it? To be honest, yeah. There was a part of me that thought this car just won't live up to the hype. But now it's back. Now I've tested it. Now I've realised, how usable it is. Yeah, it does live up to the hype. Finally, something that doesn't disappoint. So yeah, I can't wait to use this car for, years to come now in Gran Turismo. If you've been watching this video and you've watched it all the way through, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as I post this kind of content each and every day. Thank you to those that have stuck around day in, day out, putting up with my voice and watching my content. Seriously, it means so much to me. Thanks, guys, and I'll hopefully see you all in the next one. Cheers.